Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Camshack here, and welcome to Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. That's right, we're weirdly getting a Star Trek game. The second in not that long period. We had that Stellaris reskin Star Trek game, what was that, last year, I think? Which didn't go over great, and now we've got Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. I'm really surprised we get a Voyager game of all things. I remember watching this show when it was airing on the same channel that had wrestling, and sometimes wrestling, which was live, would cut off the end of the episode of Voyager, and it was super frustrating. But let's get into it. I've already played through the demo, and I'm not gonna play through the whole demo. It's about 2 hours long. You can find it over on Steam if you wanna try it yourself. But we're just gonna talk about what the game is. Now, as the text says, they only gave us, they'd say first 12 sectors, which I don't know what they're using. There's no voiceovers. The cutscenes are quite pretty though. They actually look like they're almost right out of the episode. A new ship, a new crew, a new mission. Today we embark on a mission to locate a Maquis vessel that has disappeared to the Badlands. And a lot of you are gonna say, oh, wait a minute, I recognize this. This is literally the pilot for Voyager. And that's exactly what it is. The first, the demo takes place in the two-parter of the pilot, where you're gonna be dealing with a caretaker array, trying to find the Maquis base, meeting some of the cast and crew. Yeah, I actually quite like the cutscenes, and there's quite a few of these. I don't know if the whole game's gonna be like this, but it kinda feels like an episode of Voyager with the way that it cuts to like establishing shots of the outside of the Intrepid class with its little foldy nacelles, which there they go. But yeah, there are no voiceovers in the demo, and I hope they add them. So this is how the story is basically told. You're gonna see shots from like the bridge, and I'm just gonna run through these. Skip to the choice. Harry Kim introducing himself. Tom Paris. Notice that they do have the navigation officer, but they don't have the first officer anywhere. I mean, unless that's him. It doesn't end well for the majority of the crew, at least the main officers. I don't even remember if we ever met the lead medical, the actual doctor for the ship, or he was just like killed off screen. Into the Badlands. So we're traveling into Badlands to find the Maquis scanner, and we're trying to find Tuvok, which is actually a Maquis spy working for the captain. That's actually why she's out here. He's been trying to find out intel from them. We have a colossal wave approaching. Turbulent energy towards Voyager. Power is dwarfing anything that we've ever seen. And this is how we get yeeted into the Gamma Quadrant. Red alert, helm, evasive maneuvers. Brace for impact. And if you didn't know, spoilers, I guess, for what, 2000 and, no, it's like 1999. Early 2000s Voyager pilot episode. The aftermath. The ship has been kicked to hell. There's so much damage. This actually reminds me of the Year of Hell. And I wonder if they're gonna reuse this like damage state of the bridge. Damage report. We got major hull and deck damage. The transporters are offline, and we're receiving casualty reports. Janeway. Bridge to sickbay. Doctor, I've got injured crew on the bridge. Doctor? Damn, yeah, the doctor didn't make it. And that's how we end up. We're in gray mode right now, so that means we're at a deuterium. All right. So how the game actually plays, it's a kind of a choose your choice adventure mixed with the XCOM style base management, and it's a resource management game. Right now we're going through the tutorial, and literally the entire demo is this long tutorial establishing how we get into the Gamma Quadrant, how we get lost 75, what is it, 1,000 light years from home or something. It's something like that, where it's gonna take us so many years, decades to get home by standard warp drive. We're literally on the other side of the galaxy. But here's the ship, and if we zoom in on it, you can see the turbo lifts moving around. If we zoom in on it, you can notice like, yeah, all this rubble, that's how we decide what we're going to build, what sections we're gonna build up. Caretaker is the quest that we're on, so the Caretaker storyline, activate stellar cartography by switching on the power. And it very Star Trek-like. We have our life support systems all across here. But first, we have to switch on the power to stellar cartography, word speaks, which is well over here. Oh, look at this. Chat actually reminded me. So here's your normal engine bay. We can zoom in on these. We can zoom pretty close. See the set pieces. They actually built this. This was one of the sets. of Voyager. Like any Star Trek, right? You've got your bridge, you've got your engineering bay with your warp core. And I was like, what is this, guys? Let me zoom in, hang on, zoom back. What is this? And chat was like, oh, that's the backup warp core. The Voyager has a backup warp core. Neat, that's cool. I wonder if this will be relevant in the story. I know they do go through warp cores a few times in the show. I assume they can just replicate them. Also, you can see inside the deflector, the main deflector, which is still online. There's the outside of the ship, the dish. They also have something that we never saw in the entirety of the 7 seasons, and that was the aerospace shuttle. It is here. So this ship, you can see the outline of it on the outside of Voyager from underneath the hull, but they never used it. It was built into it, it was kind of written into it, and then they never said, hey, this, I think it was too expensive, and then they ended up going with the Delta Flyer. Most likely because look at how big that set would have to be for them to have this thing on the ship, right? Like, it's massive. Anyways, I just like that little bit of lore. You can see it on the bottom of it. All right, so let's get stellar cartography online. There it is, which is a little weird because I didn't think this got built until farther in the show. Right? I thought this was a 7 of 9 construction, but let's switch it on. I'm clicking it. It's gonna use up 3 of our power and 2 of our personnel. And you're gonna notice, like, you're all about managing resources, and I can see why they chose Voyager for this. Captain Sensors are picking up something out there. Oh, Kim. Never be promoted, Kim. Tom Paris, our criminal, who's... he's a character that was actually played by somebody who was in Next Generation, who got a cadet killed, and he's basically the same character, but they had to rename him because there were some rights issues with the name of that character. I guess the writer was no longer with him, and somehow they owned the character's name. I don't know, it's weird. But Tom Paris is now our navigation officer. He was a really terrible Maquis. He got caught like 2 weeks into joining the Maquis, which is impressive. What is this thing? Where are we? We don't know where we're at yet, we're lost. If our sensors are working, we just jumped over 70,000 light years into the Delta Quadrant. Did I say Gamma Quadrant? Delta Quadrant. How? Captain, life support systems are failing. I need to have more coffee. This array will have to wait. Mr. Paris, take the helm, find us a deuterium source. Deuterium is what allows the warp core to cause a reaction or to stay stable. And so while Star Trek doesn't always talk about having fuel, it does. They do have a fuel source, right? I think they even mentioned fuel sources in, this isn't a new thing that was added in like later canon. This has been a thing for a long time because they had a fuel source for the Klingons. Praxis, that was the name of the moon that like detonated and sent the Klingon Empire into disarray. So we're gonna get into the overmap. So welcome to the sector map. Excuse me, the system map down here. You can move the camera around with WASD, and then 1 will bring you to the ship, 2 will bring you to the systems, and then 3 will bring you into the, I guess that'll be called the sector map. I don't really remember. Middle mouse wheel, by the way, zooms or locks on to Voyager, and then middle mouse wheel to zoom in. We can see Voyager over here, and now we choose. And this is where the management gameplay comes from. So you'll be able to make decisions, even in the demo, of like how you go about these various missions. And maybe you'll be able to make different mission choices. I wasn't in the demo. I tried to make a choice in the demo, my first run, that would have ended the show. And I was gonna give them so much credit for allowing me to just like, nah, we're going home. I'm choosing that choice and not the infamous choice that Janeway is kind of known for making. And it didn't let me do it. It was still like, nah, you're being in 7 seasons of this show. And that was a bit disappointing. But there are other choices and like who you're going to be risking on away missions and stuff, which you'll see once we have our first away mission. But we gotta find deuterium. So I can click these sources and I can do a scan. Now we can get deuterium. All right, so I did literally find deuterium in the first thing that I noticed. All tutorial about points of interest. The debris field over here. If I click it, I can set a course. We don't know how much. All those systems and like levels of stuff that we can install in the ship in the management section have upgrades, and one of them, I believe, is to get more sensor data from stellar cartography. So I have 2 choices here. I can collect an easily accessible amount of resource from the debris field, or I can take a risk, that's the yellow, and try to use the tractor beam. I'm gonna do the tractor beam. Receiving data. Oh, okay, yeah, no, so we actually, oh, right, so this isn't a failure chance, this is a critical success chance. Interesting. I wonder why we'd even give us the choice between don't do the chance of critical success or have critical success. There are ones that could like hurt the ship, right? We are at 243 deuterium. Let's see if we can find some more. That is duranium. I'm gonna still set a course for it because I want dibs. We've arrived. Go ahead and salvage. Ah, we need torpedo bays to blow up this old wrecked ship. I don't have those yet, but we need the metal resource. Let's go ahead and grab it to make those upgrades and to change the interior of the ship. And I think this is where a lot of the challenge is gonna come from, is just trying to maintain Voyager's systems, keep it running, choosing what upgrades you're going to do, and then hope that the dice are in your favor and that you've kind of done things to stack them in your favor. Let's go ahead and scan. I need 243. Is that deuterium? That is deuterium. Yeah, set course, and then we'll have to come back to the array. We have a limited amount of storage. We can only hold 1,000, so we have no reason to get too much. Now remember, we use this as our fuel, our power source for everything, including, and we're gonna get into it in a minute. Let's go ahead and tractor beam. Our replicators and what kind of rations. And if you've ever watched Voyager, they were real big on talking about replicator rations. Kind of reinforcing the idea that they are cut off from the supply lines of the Federation. They don't have unlimited power, and that they have to be very careful in the choices that they make, which I think they could have gone a little bit harder into it. Captain, ready to increase warp core output. We're still in gray mode, by the way. If you run out of fuel, the ship doesn't just shut down and you can't do anything and you've lost the game. You go into what's called gray mode. If we click the warp core, we can see we can now manage it. And I'm gonna bring it up to tier 1. This is gonna produce 1 deuterium for 5 energy. And we could, of course, go up higher and higher and higher if we really, really wanted to. But we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna go boop. Lowest level. Energy levels are returning to normal, Captain. We don't have much to run. Good. Now, what about this thing, this array? I can't tell. Captain, our scanners detect a Maquis vessel next to it. We can scan for life signs using our sensor array with a 100% chance, or we can try to hail them. I scanned the last time. Let's try hailing them. Hail them. No response, Captain. All right, scan for life signs. Scanning the ship for life signs, Ensign. There's no one on board. Then scan the array. And it gave me success chance based on, I think it's the character skill doing it. And that means you're gonna be choosing like who does what. And of course you can imagine, is one of the life signs Vulcan? I'm not sure, Captain. The signals are weak. I really hope they can get some of the cast for this. Or at the very least, they need a narrator that is like get maybe like Robert Picardo would be cool to narrate portions of it, or maybe Kim would be hilarious. They can promote him to narrator. We have all the duranium we needed. Cool, engineering is in standby to repair the transporter, Captain. So transporter's broken, and soon we're gonna be choosing what goes in these rooms. I do like that they've kind of played into the idea that, let me zoom over. So every deck, right, has, except for the bottom decks, but these decks up top have a life support system. And so you can have, life support on deck 1 is offline, and it is offline, because that means none of this stuff is going to work, like the shield generator, or the empty rooms, or the mess hall. And we'll have to fix those later, but that's how the life support, because you always hear that in Star Trek. The life support on deck 6 is offline. Reroute emergency power, bring it back online. All right, transporter room's offline. We're gonna go ahead and repair it. We've already gotten the, was it deuterium, right? Duranium. And then we can zoom in on it. Transporter's back online, Captain. Mr. Paris, set a course for the array. It's time we got some answers. I'm actually gonna not do that. I'm gonna scan this thing next to us. We don't have much duranium, so let's pop to there first, and then we'll jump over there. Every cycle, and I don't think we ever say what a cycle actually is. Let's take just the regular stuff. Wonderful. It eats our power, and it eats our... Oh, let's go ahead and set course. It just eats all of our resources, mainly our power, though. That's the big one, because we are just about to run out. We're down to 300 already. Look how fast that goes. Back to the array. And we're gonna have another resource that they add in, which is the crew resource and the morale of the crew. We have to balance those too. So we could spend more power or fuel to make better replicator rations and get their morale up, but we're gonna be eating more and more fuel. That's gonna be rough. All right, now we're setting up a transporter away team. We've only got 2 choices. Here are the challenges that they're going to meet on the left-hand side, and it's up to us as this list grows out. And the demo doesn't do a great job of showing you like to giving you options. It just shows how the mechanic works. Obviously, we're gonna take Harry Kim. He's got some engineering skill, not amazing. He's level 1, and he's got some science. I think it's just science skill. So he fills about half of these, and then Tom Paris, our pilot. So wait, so he's pilot, and Harry is just quick-witted. What is quick-witted? Those are just the recommended traits for this operation. Huh. It'll be neat when we have the full crew and we're out of the tutorial. We've got like Chakotay and 7 of 9, or Cass when she's on board, Tuvok, you know. But for the demo, I think you get Tuvok and you'll get Chakotay. I guess you get you get Tuvok and Chakotay, and you don't really get to do anything with Kess and with Neelix right away. Let's go and start the mission. And those are showing you, like, those are the challenges you're gonna have, but you don't know what the challenges will actually be. Here's the events, and then they've got these, like, stylized images of the operation, whatever you're up to, which is them walking around. Captain, we have materialized in the middle of a cornfield. This place, it's eerily similar to Earth, but something's off. Any suggestion on what to do next? And now I can choose who does the next thing. We can look for footprints or special noises, which is apparently something that Paris can do, or scan for any life signs or strange energy signatures, which is our science. If I click them, it shows me what the success chance is and what the failure chance is. We're just gonna go, Harry, go for it, buddy. And then we roll. Success! Looks like we wanna roll low. Harry and Tom use the tricorder to scan for life signs, to detect a strange energy spike emanating from a nearby area. We use science. Cool. So we've used science for the first one. Now we could use, like, what is that, tactical, I would imagine? Versus, or something Starfleet, medical, or science. Now, he's fatigued. If I do it again, he could get wounded. So we're gonna probably wanna do something with Paris. I'm gonna have Paris read body language. So, Captain, this old man seems harmless enough. He might know what's going on. He's playing the banjo. This is the caretaker's, like, waiting room. I remember this in the episode. We've beamed over, and it's like, this should be the inside of a space station. Instead, it's like an old southern farmhouse. And there's a guy, she's making cornbread, and he's over here playing the banjo, being like, just hang on and wait a minute. It's not your turn yet. Yeah, we'll try to read body language with Paris. Good luck, buddy. Failed! Harry and Tom observe the old man, but his body language is surprisingly neutral. He seems like, genuinely kind of harmless old farmer. The old man seems perplexed by their presence, muttering about they're not supposed to happen. Well, it's not supposed to happen this way. He invites them to stay on the farm and wait, offering them some fresh corn cobs. So, we've actually failed one of these. The old man isn't much help. Now, this is a weird one. So we failed that, but we're still ending up right where we were, right? I wonder if this is... You're still gonna get the plot of the episode, right? With maybe some major decisions, because I think they have what's like gold decisions or something that's like, hey, this is important, you gotta make this one. This is the time where you're actually gonna change the plot. Oh, this one's a cool one. We can actually have them both do this one. Try to find a way to break into the illusion wall. So we're finding something strange inside the barn in the back. Or we could just scan it. I'm gonna say, let's have them both work together. We'll, just for science sake, for experimentation. He's fatigued. What happens when you do something when you're fatigued? I'm pretty sure they take a wound. Success! Harry and Tom try to disrupt the energy field, causing a flicker in the air. And before they can break the illusion, the people from the field burst in, wielding farm tools as weapons. The old man appears and reveals the barn is an illusion, the back wall dissolving to show a bluish and glowing room where unconscious people, including a tattooed man and a half Klingon woman, lie on a surgical table. Consequences. Sometimes you have to make major decisions. Here's what I was talking about, that have a large influence in how the story proceeds. And it should show up as like, yeah, they're golden. So, do we wake up the tattooed man or wake up the half Klingon woman? I'm gonna wake up the half Klingon woman. I'm pretty sure I woke up Chakotay. This is him. This is gonna be our first officer on Voyager, maybe, if he survives the tutorial. So last time I woke him up. So let's wake up B'Elanna and see if she punches me in the throat. And that actually gave me fuel, weirdly enough. Harry sprints towards the half Klingon woman, hoping to rouse her. As he reaches out, the old man stops him, a look of concern on his face. So I actually misclicked. I didn't even get to read the rest of it. But There we go. After a mission is over, we got some fuel, we got some experience and level ups for our 2 crewmen, our bridge officers. A sudden return. Captain Janeway anxiously awaits the return of her away team when Harry King unexpectedly materializes behind her. What happened to the array? So they've been beamed back to Voyager. What happened over there, Mr. Kip? We lost contact with you for several hours. Hours, but we managed. We were just there, right, Tom? Tom? Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Wait a second, it's backwards. It did change things. So in the show, it's Harry that gets taken by the caretaker. And last time I did yeah, it switched them. So now Harry's on board the bridge because of the choice I made. Oh, weird. That means I don't have my pilot anymore, right? Captain, we're being hailed by the Maquis. Starfleet, I don't know what you did to our commander, but I can still ram this wreck into your precious ship. This is different too, because Chakotay isn't there anymore. Chakotay was really understanding. B'Elanna's gonna be pissed. Ram us. One of our own is also missing. It would make sense to postpone the ramming until we're all accounted for. Does that sound reasonable? We're beaming over. Boarding party. Yeah, even the art's different. Nice. Despite Janeway's invitation, the arrival of the Maquis crew is fraught with tension. Both sides remain wary as they prepare to discuss their shared predicament. So I would imagine negotiating with B'Elanna is going to be a bit more difficult because her character's always been a bit hot-headed, half Klingon. It should be interesting to see if I could actually get her to not just shoot Janeway and take over the ship. I wouldn't have it any other way. Glad to have you back, Mr. Tuvok. Likewise, Captain. Miss Torres, I must inform you that I was assigned to infiltrate the Maquis. All right, I have to mention this. Poor Chakotay. His entire Maquis bridge crew, except for Torres, are all traitors. Tuvok is a Starfleet spy, and what was her name? His other officer and ex-girlfriend was a Cardassian spy. Batak! You win some, you lose some. Let's focus on bringing Mr. Paris and your commander back. His name is Chakotay, and we can't get back that easy. They're sealed and their communications are cut off. Lieutenant Tuvok, get down to engineering and find a way to bypass whatever's jamming our communications. Report back as soon as we have a solution. Captain, the ship's status remains critical. Repair protocols are imperative. We require resources and the engineering office to mobilize additional workforces. Prioritize life support, secure core decks, and restore Deck 5 functionality first to gain access to the engineering office. So they're teaching us about life support systems, which would be bringing this online. So let's bring life support on Deck 5. Life support's been restored to Deck 5, Captain. Engineering office is now accessible. Yeah, I'm kind of down for this. This is, of course, we're getting super tutorialized, but after this point, it's gonna be up to us to figure out what is important on Voyager on their journey to upgrade. What people do we send on away teams? And I'm down for it. I think what's gonna come down to my recommendation when this game comes out, if it stays at this demo quality level, is gonna be how much it costs and how much voice acting can they bring into it, right? I think those are gonna be the two really clutch development paths that they're gonna have to focus on. It's how much are you guys gonna charge for this? Because I like this. This is probably one of the best parts of XCOM's management, or some have compared it to, though I didn't play it, the mobile Fallout game, the bunker game. All right, we got life support online, and this is for the entire deck. So now I should be able to click engineering. I do have the metal for it because we picked up some on the way back. We're gonna put one engineering team on this, which if you look up here in the top right-hand corner, on crews, I have one work team. We'll be able to get more of those as we build engineering offices, which is why we're doing this. Let's go ahead and repair it. 2 cycles to repair, and cycles go really, really fast. So let's go find some more fuel. And I can just WASD around. I want to show you guys the, which direction should we go? I'm gonna say this way. Let's scan it. All right, that's fuel. Scan. That's also fuel. Scan. More fuel. Scan. And more fuel. All right, is there any? Explore the system and gather resources. What I want is metal. There it is. Set a course! Which that actually looks like an M class. Engineering ops provides up to what? Yep, we got it. So enter ship. Once you've built something, it'll give you a pop-up like that, and then you hit enter ship and you can actually see it come online if you want to see it change and the lights come on. Crew being assigned. Engineering office fully operational, Captain. Captain, we now have additional work teams to carry our 2 tasks simultaneously. So every one of these, you're gonna get an extra work team, and you can do an upgrade to get more work teams so that you can repair more. And I imagine if you're getting into a lot of combat, say we're doing the Year of Hell storyline, and the ship is absolutely kicked to crap, some of you may know what I'm talking about, then we're gonna want a lot of work teams to try to put it back together. When the bridge gets a sunroof. This requires reactivating life support in the section first. All right, we can do that. Let's get Deck 1's life support online, which we don't have to fix. And right now they're gonna teach us how do we rebuild these sections. So we need to get we gotta eat. So let's get the mess hall online. Go ahead and make the repair. Literally repairing like the bare minimum to have all the management. That's why they're running us through this for the tutorial. Unit complete. We should address crew accommodations next, but first we gotta clear out the ruins. Anybody played XCOM has definitely seen this. So you've got a ruin section of your underground bunker or in this case, an Intrepid class starship. We click this, we can go to clear debris, and then once that's clear, we'll be able to choose any kind of building we wanna put in there or in this case, install rooms. Let's get some more resources, which we are on the way to this class of planet. Now, it's an L class. I wonder, mess hall's done. Gonna close the report. Mess hall repairs are complete, Captain. We should switch to replicator rations now. It will enhance the crew well-being. Now, wouldn't you automatically start issuing replicator rations? You want me to switch to premium replicator rations to get +10 to crew morale. Now notice under the management, we literally have management where we can switch it off, we can upgrade it, increase our food and crew, it'll be fed, and we have heroes. We could assign someone to this. I'm gonna put Neelix in here once we have him, because, it's hilarious, even though he doesn't know how to make coffee. Let's go ahead and give them a premium. Replicator rations are issued to the crew, Captain. And that should mean, there it is, our morale bar is now here. We can see it's at 2,800 with a max of 4,000. We can see we're losing 50 per, because we don't have any quarters, crew quarters. And so that's why we're ruining, no, we're clearing. Where are we clearing? We're clearing a ruined room down here on deck 5. Yeah, we're gonna let that continue. Can I force a cycle without moving? Cycles pass while Voyager's traveling. No, I have to travel. Really? So if we go, if you hit tab, by the way, you can get into your overview and you can see your morale, you can see your crew numbers, Borgs. Hey, spoilers, man. Heroes, so we've only got 3, and Paris has been, I like that this actually made an effect. I was wondering if choices mattered in this, and losing Paris, our pilot, because of a decision that we made, actually had an effect, but it didn't tell me what the effect was. So it was hard to know that I made a change because I had kind of kept with the story of the plot, so I hadn't noticed that something was different until we did this rerun. All right, rerun, yep, that's what I'm gonna call it. All right, so let's go to systems, let's move. We have arrived. Oh no, we've not arrived. Construction report ended because we were already on the move. So, we have cleared a room. Tuvok's gonna teach us how to build. Maybe we should rebuild some crew quarters. It'll do wonders for morale, Captain. Because everyone's sleeping in corridors right now. If we click it, we have a lot more options. Borg technology is in here, maturation chambers, and okay, this opens up questions like, how many Borg can we have on the ship, right? Combat rooms, this is gonna give us a cloaking device, energy disruptor control systems, disruptor array controls, shield generators, phaser controls. Neat, I haven't gone through this. Technology, science labs, hydroponics, large hydroponics, which is giving us food, biolaboratory, and waste disassembler, which produces deuterium. +5 for every 10, neat, okay, cool. We don't need any of that. We need crew, and we need emergency corners, accommodations for 10 people. Double stacked in here. I notice they have a shape. We'll click it, and in 4 cycles, we'll have double bunks. We have a call coming in on screen. The caretaker. Captain, the array's jamming signal has been neutralized. We should be able to establish communication. Let's hope they respond. Hail the array. Oh yeah, the jellyfish. Blob. Ugh, who is this? Why are you bothering me? Oh, it's you. Why are you back? You don't have what I need. I remember that voice, Captain. It's the old man from the banjo. But his his form is entirely different compared to how he appeared on the Ray. Yeah, he has no like thumbs. How can he play the banjo? I'm Captain Janeway of the Federation starship Voyager. We mean you no harm. We just want our people back. Your people are no longer here. They might have what I need. You'll just have to leave them. So we have some chances of success. We could scan the array, ignore them completely. 100% chance. We gotta let B'Elanna talk. I kind of want to do this because it's hilarious. B'Elanna is not the diplomat. So having her talk to the array, 60% chance of I like that B'Elanna is number 3, and then trying to intimidate them is number 2, but it's Janeway, not B'Elanna, doing it. I let the first officer do this last time, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna appeal to his humanity. Nah, let's let Torres talk. No, listen here, Gramps. Return Chakotay, or I'll use that banjo in ways only a Klingon could. Got it? The struggle for survival, yeah, heavy burden. Okay, it's the same thing it said to. Time for what? To ensure their survival. Whose survival? I hope you're not talking about Chakotay and the pilot. Your people? No, your people may just hold the key to their survival, and I must hurry. No. You're stealing my time. Don't you understand? I don't have time. Not enough time. We've been cut off, Captain. This is getting us nowhere. We need to find our people and fast. Captain, if I may, I've observed the array is sending out energy pulses toward the 5th planet of a neighboring system ever since our arrival. And if you have seen, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the, how do you skip to the choice? Is it? All right, there we go. So we have a planet, a dust ball, out in the next system, actually. This is the map that I wanted to show you guys. So we have number 1, interior of the ship. Number 2, we've got the local star system. And 3 is the sector map. And how we're going to be cruising from point to point, trying to get back home. And I wonder if we can find other ways to get home. Could be neat. Wait, we can scan this? Oh, cool. Yeah, so this isn't where we need to go. I didn't realize I could scan it with stellar cartography. I would assume, and then we can hit the middle button to, focus on the ship where we're actually located. Hello, Voyager. So pretty. All right, I'll jump to the next sector. I'm not gonna play the entirety of the demo, but just so that you can see the jump. And now we're traveling to the next star system. Very cool. What this is really, really making me be nostalgic for, and how I wish this played so badly, is Bridge Commander. If anybody remembers that game, it was a Next Generation tie-in game. I think it came out like right at the end, if not after Next Generation was airing. And you were literally on the bridge and you were managing systems like that. And that would be a very cool perspective. Though I do like their LCARS menu system is quite neat. So our objective would be to go here to the Okampa planet, where we're gonna find 2 of our soon-to-be crew members, actually 4 of our crew members, and go through the rest of the pilot, the second half of the pilot. I'm not gonna do that for the demo. I just wanna walk you through a little bit of the resources first. Borg nanites, we don't have anything for the Borg. I think we're a couple of seasons, 3 seasons shy? The bio gel packs are represented here. Take the cheese to sickbay. Yeah, that's a thing, and we only have so many of them, and I like they make a point of this because that was a almost forgotten about plot point in the show. I think they did like 2 episodes with it. Voyager has these like grown biomechanical gel packs that for some reason make the ship be more maneuverable and respond faster. It still has a human pilot though, so don't ask me how that works, I have no idea. But supposedly it's faster and more maneuverable due to this technology that I think is largely just never used again in Starfleet. It was decided not great. And it gets a cold at one point, and it's like Star Trek's version of Alien 1 with Janeway, and it's actually pretty great. She's such a badass with the pulse rifle that she runs around with. Science points, we'll eventually get to do some research once we get our science lab online, figuring out what we want to perk into to make things work a little bit better, to gain access to new technologies. We'd have to get almost towards the end of the demo for that, but just imagine there's like 5 trees of research in varying categories and a decent amount of scrolling through them to see all the stuff that you can research into and figuring out like what's important for your version of Voyager and getting it home. Dilithium crystals, which tech tree stuff. We got deuterium, that's gonna be our fuel, which you're gonna burn like crazy, particularly if you're actually feeding your crew like some kind of weirdo. Our energy production is warp core, so if you need to shut down systems to keep other stuff running, you're gonna mess around with this. I could see this being really fun to play around with because of I hit tab actually. The warp core, if you could have multiple, let's say, shield generators on board, which you can build, you could actually be rerouting power into your shields for whatever the event is, or draining, systems so that you can keep something running like the deflector dish. Who knows what kind of events could pop up. Same with morale, like having to work around morale. How long do we stay in a system that might be really good for morale before we jump into like, that area that was just no man's land that they went through, where they were so far away from other stars, you don't see stars anymore. And what that did to morale. I love that. I love that episode. That's actually one of the better ones. With Harry playing his instrument. I can't remember what it was called on the bridge. But anyways, yep, it's a demo. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it when it comes out. It's only got that first 2 pilot episodes, but they're pretty detailed. 2 hours for a 2-hour pilot. It's pretty much on point, and you get to make some fun decisions. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the demo so far, and what would you like to see before it comes out? Like, what should they focus on? Do you think voice acting is important, like I do? I think that's gonna be really clutch. If they could get the whole cast, that would be amazing. I doubt that's gonna happen. At the very least, like, a narrator would be great. Tuvok, maybe the Doctor, Robert Picardo would be pretty cool. Hell, even Kes, because she wouldn't even be in for most of it, so at least she'd be there. All right, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to see some more sci-fi gaming and modding goodness, you guys know what to do, and I'll see you next time. Later, everybody. Set a course.